My name is David Corey. This is one of my partners, Roberto Guzman. We have a third partner who's not here, Christian Bunce, and the three of us together form KGB Ltd, which stands for Corey Guzman Bunce Limited. And we have designed a line of handmade furniture. The thread that's common to all the pieces we're doing is everything is handmade. We try to use materials that are kind of associated with more traditional furniture, but we use them in a very modern way. Part of what we're doing is combining materials that you don't see typically in modern furniture. We kind of felt that if we were going to do a line of furniture, we wanted to put something out there that obviously was not something that everyone else was doing. Pieces of RAREculture is carrying, kind of incorporate a lot of those ideas. The coffee table, for instance, we're using Pyrex, which is an industrial material. It's used in making lenses and microscopes and telescopes. It's usually ground down. We're using it in its raw form because it's a very organic glass. We're using silicon bronze, which is what's used in sculpting as opposed to architectural bronze. It's not typically used in furniture. For us, making things one-off by hand is the way that we can produce as much furniture as possible. You know, when you are producing by hand, you just have so much more freedom. You know, it's going to be expensive, but it's going to be worth every penny, and it is what it is. You know, 11 years ago, it was very different. It was very hard-edged. I mean, I still like a lot of the pieces, but it was a much different aesthetic. And I feel like as we've gotten older, we've gotten more, I think it's kind of a level of maturity where it's not just about shocking people, it's about, you know, people have to live with furniture. I think we learned a lot from the first experience that certain materials, people just, you know, embrace them a lot more, and you kind of have to listen to what, you know, I mean, you shouldn't have to design around what people will necessarily buy, but you have to listen to what people are telling you, and you have to kind of understand that, you know, when people buy furniture, they're really living with it in a really intimate way, and they have to feel comfortable with it. You know, that was something, I think, a lesson that we learned just by trial and error. We're really passionate about what we do, and I think for me anyway, I don't want to speak for my other partners, but for me, nothing is more important than trying to produce something that makes people look at a common everyday object in a new way, or discover something new about it. And sometimes it can be as simple as like just changing a material, or, you know, one move that you do, suddenly it kind of reveals itself in a new way. Like for me, you know, designing any piece, I always kind of start with the archetypal, you know, model of that piece. And then, you know, you try to decide what is it about it that's most this thing. And then if you can change it up a little bit to make people see something new about it, to me that's just like, that's kind of like the ultimate reward.